Welcome to all the mini enthusiasts. I said I'd put an update in today. Yeah, just one quick thing before we get onto the mini. The reason why I started, some people were asking me about why I started doing the YouTube videos. I mean, one obviously is I like to pass information on to other people, but it's a very good motivator because, you know, when you're doing restorations, especially in the winter, or you're coming home from work at night and you're tired, and sometimes it's very hard to get motivated. That's why a lot of projects just sit and sit. So the good thing about the YouTube is you make a video, people are always interested in it because there's somebody out there who wants to know something. Even if they don't have the particular car, there's something they might learn, a skill. So it's a good thing to pass on. And as I say, what it does, it motivates you because people are asking you, oh, when are you doing this, when are you doing it? So it motivates you to do the next project or carry on and I'll keep moving on, because it is difficult in the winter. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. So I'll take you now to the car. What I've done this morning, I didn't do anything to it yesterday. As you saw, I looked at the gearboxes and the engines of the Jaguar XKs. So I started this morning. I've done about, I don't know, a couple of hours work, I think 2 or 3 hours work, because I've got some gardening to do. And I've taken all the windows out, I've taken the dashboard out. And so what I'll do now is I'll show you what I've been up to. I've started to take the headcloth out, or the headlining out, which is a bit of a mystery to some people. In a Mini it's very, very basic. Some cars are obviously a lot more difficult than that, and it is, you know, you do have to know the tricks of the trade and where all the hidden clips and screws and bits and pieces go, but it's quite easy on the Mini. So I'll just show you how it works, and obviously when the car's completely finished, sometime in the future, when I put the new one in, which I have upstairs, I'll show it you. Anyway, so let's have a look now at the car. So, and I wanted to point out some spots, particularly on a Mini, that are bad. There's these areas on the windscreen. Now, this car's been in here around about 18 months, if not a little bit longer, I would think. And I'll just show you where they go the most. Let me just pop this on so you can see. You can see this area here. This is typical of a Mini, and this is the sill where the rubber seal goes in for the glass, and the water just sits underneath them. As you can see on the side, it's fairly good, because obviously water runs downhill. You can see there's just the odd. See there? There's a piece there. There. So all this needs to be taken out. So if you go to a car and you I'm not saying you pull the rubber, you can't pull the rubber off, but at least have a look. And this is what you'll find filler in there. Now, this car, as I say, this car was sat in here for 18 months, or at least 18 months, maybe longer. When I took this seal out this afternoon, you know, bearing in mind this has been through a couple of summers in here, so it's been dry, it's never been outside. And this, when I took it out, the amount of water that was in this front seal was unbelievable. I mean, it was probably, quite a few millilitres. I mean, surprisingly, you know. Anyway, so these are the areas to look out for. On the sides, the same. This one has had some kind of bitumen or glues put into it, so it's not too bad. So going on to the headcloth. So you can see here, normally the headcloth, what happens is when it comes up, it's stuck in, and then it just fits over this edge. You can see it just, and then obviously the rubber seal goes over the top of that. So just to show you what it looks like inside. So you can see there's the bars that you get with them, and you can see there's a hole up there. So basically all it is you pop that into the hole, and then you pop it forward and stretch it, and that's basically how it works. And then that'll go onto there like that. So there's really not a lot to them. On the Mini there isn't. So basically what you want to do is this is stretched in this position here, and as you pull it forward, it'll loosen, as you can see here now. And then all you have to do is lift that and just drop it down. And up to the other end, let's pop it round. Up to the other end, what you've got to do is just drop it down. And then as you go along, you see the next one. And the colour, these are colour coded, or So what you have to do, obviously, you don't want to bend these aluminium bars, because you want to use them in the next head cloth. And that's basically how it works. So as I say, you go along, push it forward. You can see that that's, and then come along. I'll try and put this in the middle a bit so you can see it better. So you can see that it's glued underneath there. You can see all the glue, and then just pop that down. And as you work it, you just work along all the way like that. And the same in the front. There's really very little to it. So, yeah. So the job tomorrow, I'll pop another video. Oh, and I took the dashboard out, and unfortunately, quite some time ago, a couple of years ago, I did a video on classic mini dashboard, or wood dashboard replacement, and this one was put in on top. Now what I did with my Mini 25 when I had it was I actually took this pod out, this binnacle out, and I actually attached it to the wood, so there was no gap. On the one I've just taken out, it was a huge gap. It looked bloody awful. So in retrospect, I really should have done this right from the start. I should have actually stripped the car completely and started again. But I had my mind on other things like the E-type and bits and pieces, so I didn't go with it. But I'm kind of regretting it now. Anyway, so that's where we are. One other thing, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, while the subframe's on the car, I'm going to lift it up and drag it forward onto the ramp because I need the space. I need the space to get the subframe out the back. So what I'll do is I'll pull it forward tomorrow, I'll block it up, put the scissor jack, which is in the center there, you can just see underneath the subframe, and I'll take the subframe off. But unfortunately I won't be able to move it. I can get it out off the heel board and off the car, but lifting it on my own might be a bit difficult. So but you'll see that tomorrow. And what I'll do is I'll actually time it, how long it takes me to get it off. Bearing in mind this is brand new, and the difference between taking one that's just gone on and an original one, there is no comparison, believe me. So anyway, yeah, and as I say, what I'm going to do is I'll take off the other wing. I won't cut any of these front panels until I get the new ones. This is a good tip, this. Don't go cutting things until you've actually got the other panels, because you need to know where they end, you know, because what will happen in the best case scenario, you'll cut it in the wrong place and then you'll have to recut it again. So you've done it twice. Worst case is it's too short, then you're adding pieces. So, you know, wait until you've got them and scribe them up and mark where they are. Okay, the last thing I did today was I just took the wing down down to my sandblaster, just have a quick look and see what it was like. And you can see there was a bit of filler in there. You see it there. But actually the wing's not in too bad condition. I think I can save it. And this piece here, and you can see there I sandblasted that piece. So it's quite nice underneath. So it's all savable. Needs a bit of work, but I think I can save it. So I'll take the other wing and a panel off just to check. But just something I wanted to mention before I finish with the video. Now this is a typical example. Somebody's put this A panel on, and then what they did was when they've cut this part off the wing, and then they've used it as a strengthener, which it does need, but there are proper ones to buy for it. Anyway, and then what they did was they stuck a couple of tiny welds and then siliconed this. Now this is a typical example of if you're making a panel and you don't butt the steel together like this, and you overlap it, this is what tends to happen. This is worse, obviously, because it was silicone and it wasn't welded all the way along. But if you do a returned edge or a double panel, make sure that you prime it properly inside, yeah, with weld-through primer, and make sure it's primed properly and all the rust is gone and you've treated it before you start putting stuff like, obviously not this, but before you put, I mean, I have a juggler to make that edge, but make sure you prime everything inside, because believe me, within a very short period of time it'll start rusting again. So yeah, that's it. We're finished up.